I've spent 15 years catching insurance fraudsters, and I was married to the best one I'd ever seen. The pregnancy test photo arrived on a Tuesday morning, nestled in my phone messages like a grenade wrapped in congratulations. My wife Madison stood in our Phoenix kitchen, her perfectly manicured fingers trembling just enough to sell the performance, tears already pooling in those green eyes that had fooled me for 6 years of marriage. "Preston," she whispered, her voice catching in that practiced way that had gotten her through countless real estate closings. "I have incredible news to share with you." I looked up from my laptop, where I'd been reviewing arson investigation reports for the fire department, my bread and butter as an insurance fraud investigator who specialized in suspicious claims. The irony wasn't lost on me later. There I was, catching other people's liars while living with the best one I'd ever encountered. Madison slid her phone across our granite countertop, the same expensive surface she'd insisted we needed to maintain property value in our Scottsdale neighborhood. Her real estate commission checks were good, but not granted in the desert good. That should have been my first clue. "We're having a baby, Preston, after everything we've been through. Everything we'd been through." That was Madison's way of referring to the miscarriage she'd claimed 6 months ago, the one that had supposedly devastated her so completely that she needed time and space to heal. The same miscarriage that had required her to move into a downtown apartment for mental health recovery, leaving me alone in our ranch-style house with nothing but questions and a growing pile of suspicious credit card statements. The pregnancy test on her phone screen showed 2 clear pink lines. It looked official. It looked real. It looked like everything we'd supposedly wanted since our 2nd anniversary when Madison first brought up starting a family. I stared at the image, feeling something twist in my chest. Not joy, not yet. Something else? Something that felt like the moment right before you realize you've been played. "This is from Dr. Spencer Coleman at the clinic downtown?" I asked, keeping my voice steady. "Yes, yesterday afternoon. I wanted to be absolutely sure before I told you." Madison moved around the counter, sliding her arms around my neck. She smelled like expensive perfume bought with money we didn't have. "I know we've been having problems, but maybe this is exactly what we need to reconnect." Problems. That was one way to put it. The late nights when she claimed to be showing properties to international investors. The mysterious phone calls she took on the patio. The way she'd started treating me like a roommate she barely tolerated, rather than a husband she'd once claimed to love. I should have seen it coming. The signs were all there, scattered across our marriage like evidence at a crime scene. The unexplained expenses on our credit cards, the new clothes that appeared in her closet without explanation. The way she'd started working out obsessively, claiming she needed to stay competitive in the real estate market. The sudden interest in social media, constantly taking photos and posting inspirational quotes about living your best life. But the biggest red flag should have been the miscarriage itself. Madison had claimed to be 12 weeks pregnant when she supposedly lost the baby. She'd shown me ultrasound photos, scheduled doctor's appointments, even started buying maternity clothes. Then one day, she came home in tears, claiming she'd started bleeding at work and rushed to the emergency room alone. I'd offered to come to the hospital, to hold her hand through the grief, but she'd insisted on facing it alone. "I need to process this by myself," she'd said. "It's too painful to share right now." I'd respected her wishes, given her space, supported her through what I thought was genuine mourning. The separation had seemed natural after that. Madison claimed she couldn't bear to be in our house, surrounded by reminders of the baby we'd lost. She needed time to heal, space to grieve, professional counseling to work through her trauma. I'd helped her move into a furnished apartment downtown, paid the rent, covered her therapy bills, done everything a loving husband should do to support his grieving wife, except none of it had been real. "I should call Rachel," I said, reaching for my phone. "She'll want to know she's going to be an aunt." Madison's grip tightened on my shoulders. "Maybe we should wait. Just keep it between us for a while." "My sister's a lab technician, Maddie. She'll be excited to see the test results." Something flickered across Madison's face, too quick for most people to catch. But I'd spent years learning to read micro-expressions for my job, watching for tells when insurance claimants lied about their losses, fear, panic, calculation. "Of course," she said, her smile returning. "I'm just being silly. New mom nerves, I guess." I snapped a screenshot of the pregnancy test and texted it to Rachel with a message. Guess who's going to be an aunt? Madison's 8 weeks along. The response came back in less than 5 minutes. Call me now. Don't let Madison hear. I felt my blood turn to ice water. I excused myself to the garage, closed the door, and dialed my sister's number. Rachel answered on the first ring. Preston, where did this pregnancy test come from? The clinic downtown, Dr. Spencer Coleman. Why? Because I know every lab in this city, and Coleman hasn't practiced here in 2 years. He moved to Denver. Rachel's voice dropped to a whisper. And Preston, this isn't even a real test photo. The formatting is wrong. The brand shown doesn't match anything available in Arizona. This image has been floating around social media for months. The garage suddenly felt too small. I gripped the phone tighter. Are you sure? I'm looking at it right now on my work computer. I ran it through our database. Preston, this pregnancy test photo is either very old or downloaded from the internet. I closed my eyes, feeling 6 years of marriage crumble in real time. Rachel, I need you to do me a favor. Can you prove this is fake? Already working on it. Give me 2 hours. When I came back inside, Madison was sitting at our kitchen table looking radiant and maternal. She'd changed into a flowing blouse that did nothing to hide her completely flat stomach. Everything okay? She asked. Perfect, I lied, settling back into my chair. Rachel is thrilled. She wants to take us out to celebrate this weekend. That sounds wonderful. For the next 2 hours, I watched my wife. Really watched her. The way she kept touching her stomach. The way she'd started leaving pregnancy magazines lying around. Books I now realized had appeared overnight. The way she kept checking her phone and smiling at messages she wouldn't let me see. I found myself cataloging every detail like I was building a case file. The expensive workout clothes that had started appearing in her laundry. The new gym membership she'd claimed was for stress relief during our separation. The way she'd suddenly become interested in nutrition and fitness, constantly talking about optimizing her body for the future. When Rachel called back, I was ready. It's definitely fake, she said. I found the original image on a pregnancy support website. It's been used in at least a dozen different social media posts. Someone just cropped it and added new timestamp information. Can you prove it? I already have. Screenshots, metadata, reverse image searches, the works. Preston, what are you going to do? I looked through the kitchen doorway at Madison, who was now reading What to Expect When You're Expecting with theatrical concentration. I'm going to play along, I said, and then I'm going to destroy her. The next morning, I woke up with a plan that would have made Sun Tzu proud. Madison was already in the shower, singing softly, something she only did when she thought she was winning. The sound made my skin crawl. I called in sick to work and spent the morning in my home office, surrounded by case files and investigation equipment. My first call was to Bryce Santos, my oldest friend and former Marine buddy who now ran his own security consulting business. If anyone could help me document Madison's lies, it was Bryce. You want me to surveil your own wife? Bryce's gravelly voice carried disbelief and dark amusement in equal measure. I want you to help me catch her in the act. She's running some kind of con, and I need evidence. What kind of con? I explained about the fake pregnancy test. Bryce whistled low. That's cold, even for a cheating wife. Most of them just lie about working. Late. So you'll help? Brother, I wouldn't miss this for the world. But Preston, you sure you want to go down this road? Sometimes it's better not to know. I already know. Now I want proof. That afternoon, I put on my best concerned husband act. I found Madison in her home office, typing furiously on her laptop. When she saw me, she quickly minimized whatever she'd been working on. Hey, honey, I said, leaning against the door frame. I've been thinking about the baby. Oh? Her fingers hovered over the keyboard, ready to close the laptop entirely if needed. I'm worried we should probably start looking into the financial side of things. Cribs, diapers, college funds. Maybe I should increase my life insurance. Madison's eyes lit up in a way that should have been heartwarming, but instead made me want to shower. That's so thoughtful of you. I was also thinking we should start putting money aside for unexpected medical expenses. You know, in case there are complications. Complications? For just a moment, her mask slipped. She looked genuinely confused, like an actor who'd forgotten her lines. Well, you're 29. The doctor probably mentioned that pregnancies after 28 carry higher risks. Right. Yes, Dr. Coleman did mention that. Coleman, who hadn't practiced in Arizona for 2 years. Maybe I should come to your next appointment. When is it? Madison's fingers drummed against her desk. Actually, Dr. Coleman prefers to see first-time mothers alone for the initial visits. Something about creating a safe space for questions. That's unusual. He's very progressive. I nodded like this made perfect sense. Well, when you do see him next, ask about genetic testing. My cousin had some issues with her pregnancy, and early testing really helped. Of course I'll ask. I was building my case methodically, the same way I approached insurance fraud investigations. Every lie Madison told was another piece of evidence, another nail in the coffin of whatever scam she was running. I'd learned long ago that the key to catching fraudsters was giving them enough rope to hang themselves. That evening, while Madison was supposedly at a client dinner, Bryce and I sat in his van across from Red Rock Bar, an upscale place downtown where Madison's BMW was parked. Through telephoto lenses, we watched my wife cozy up to a man I didn't recognize. Tall, muscular, with the kind of artificial tan that screamed fitness influencer. "Well, there's your smoking gun," Bryce muttered, snapping photos. "Question is, what's the end game? If she just wanted to cheat, why fake a pregnancy?" "Money," I said, watching the man slide an envelope across the table to my wife. "It's always about money." The guy looked like he'd stepped out of a Men's Health magazine. Perfect teeth, perfect hair, perfect body that probably required hours in the gym every day. He had that carefully cultivated look of someone who made their living selling an image, selling a lifestyle that most people could never afford. We followed them to a high-end apartment complex in Tempe, the kind of place that definitely wasn't in our budget. The building had all the amenities that screamed expensive. Valet parking, a doorman, a rooftop pool that probably cost more than most people's cars. They stayed for 3 hours. When Madison finally came home at 11, she smelled like expensive cologne and lies. "How was the client dinner?" I asked from the couch. "Boring contract negotiations." She kissed the top of my head, a gesture that once would have felt loving, but now felt like a patronizing pat. "I'm exhausted. I think I'll go straight to bed." "The baby must be taking a lot out of you." Exactly. Growing a human is hard work. After she went upstairs, I sat in the dark living room, staring at the fake pregnancy test photo she'd left on the coffee table like a trophy. My phone buzzed with a text from Bryce. "Got clear shots of the money exchange. This is bigger than just an affair." The next morning, I decided to test a theory. I woke up early and made Madison breakfast in bed, something I hadn't done in years. "What's the occasion?" she asked, looking genuinely surprised. "I was thinking about what you said yesterday about Dr. Coleman and the safe space thing. It made me realize I haven't been as supportive as I should be." Madison softened, and for a moment I saw the woman I'd married, the one who used to laugh at my jokes and steal my department t-shirts and talk about our future like it was something beautiful we were building together. "You've been very supportive, Preston. I want to do more. I was thinking, what if we started a baby fund? I could liquidate some investments, maybe take out a small loan. We could put together $25,000 or $30,000 for all the expenses." The change in Madison's expression was immediate and unmistakable. Greed, pure and simple. That's incredibly generous. It's our baby, our future. $25,000 would certainly help with everything. Actually, Madison set down her orange juice with shaking hands. I was thinking more like 28. I want our child to have everything. 28,000? Is 25 not enough? No, it's perfect. But Preston, what if something goes wrong? What if we lose the baby? There it was, the setup for her exit strategy. Then we'll deal with that when it happens. But I have a good feeling about this pregnancy. I think this baby is going to change everything for us. I wasn't lying. This fake baby was definitely going to change everything. By the end of the week, I had transformed into the perfect expectant father. I bought pregnancy books, researched baby names, and even started looking at minivans online, making sure to leave the browser history where Madison would see it. Every enthusiastic comment about our future child made her smile a little wider and dig herself a little deeper. Meanwhile, Bryce and I had been busy. We documented 5 more meetings between Madison and her mysterious friend, always involving money-changing hands. We had also discovered that the guy was Zachary Rivera, a fitness influencer with a substantial social media following and a history of targeting women through dating apps. His Instagram account was a masterpiece of calculated appeal, Shirtless workout videos, motivational quotes about living your best life, and carefully staged photos that made him look like the perfect combination of sensitive and masculine. He had over 50,000 followers, mostly women, who hung on his every post about transformation and finding your inner strength. But the more we dug, the more we found. Zachary had been linked to at least 3 other women in the Phoenix area over the past year, all of whom had suddenly found themselves in need of emergency funds for various medical or family crises, all of whom had met him through social media or dating apps, all of whom had been convinced to liquidate savings or take out loans to help with his temporary financial difficulties. But the real breakthrough came from an unexpected source, Mr. Henderson, our 70-year-old neighbor, who had apparently missed his calling as a CIA operative. "That wife of yours has been getting a lot of packages lately," he told me while I was checking our mailbox. Medical supply companies from what I could see on the labels. Probably prenatal vitamins and things like that. Maybe. But I've had 3 children, son, and I never needed to order pregnancy tests by the dozen. Pregnancy tests, plural. That afternoon, while Madison was at work, I searched our house like a crime scene. In the back of her closet, hidden behind winter coats that made no sense in Arizona, I found a box containing dozens of pregnancy tests, fake ultrasound images printed on photo paper, and a folder labeled Baby Fund. Inside the folder were bank statements for an account I'd never seen before, deposit slips showing regular transfers from our joint account, and a handwritten note in Madison's careful script. Z says we need $28K minimum to make this work. P is finally taking the bait. My hands were shaking as I photographed everything with my phone. 6 years of marriage, and I'd been reduced to a mark in a con game. The woman who'd promised to love me in sickness and health was literally making me sick to steal my wealth and security. But the worst part was yet to come. At the bottom of the box, I found a second ultrasound image, this one showing twins. Apparently, one fake baby wasn't ambitious enough for Madison's plans. There were also printouts of online articles about twin pregnancies, highlighting the increased medical costs and higher risk factors. Research notes about which insurance, companies covered which procedures. Even a printed email exchange between Madison and someone called Fitness Coach Zed, discussing escalation strategies and emotional leverage points. I realized I was looking at the playbook for a sophisticated long-term con. This wasn't just about stealing money from me. This was about systematically extracting every dollar I had while making me grateful for the privilege. That evening, I cooked dinner and opened a bottle of wine. Madison came home looking radiant, practically glowing with anticipation of whatever payday she thought was coming. "You seem happy," I observed, pouring her a glass of sparkling cider since she was pregnant. "I had my appointment with Dr. Coleman today." "How did it go?" Madison took a deep breath, like an actor preparing for her big scene. "Preston, I have amazing news. We're not having one baby." She pulled out the twin ultrasound, watching my face for a reaction. "Twins? 2 perfect, healthy babies." She dabbed at her eyes with a tissue. "Dr. Coleman says everything looks wonderful, but what?" "Well, twin pregnancies are considered high risk. He's recommending some additional procedures and monitoring. It's going to be expensive, even with insurance." "How expensive?" "Around $28,000. $28,000. Exactly what she thought she could get away with, based on my earlier comments about the baby fund. "That's a lot of money, Maddie." "I know, and if we can't afford it..." She let the sentence hang, implying dire consequences for our fictional children. I reached across the table and took her hand. Her wedding ring felt cold against my palm. "We'll find a way. I'll liquidate my retirement account if I have to." "Really? These are our children. I'd do anything for them." The performance was flawless. Madison's eyes filled with tears of gratitude. Her voice trembled with emotion, and she squeezed my hand like I was her hero. If I hadn't known it was all an act, I might have been moved by her apparent relief and love. The next morning, I called Bryce with an update. "Twins now? This woman has serious ambition. She's asking for 28 grand. What are you going to do?" "Give it to her." "Preston, you can't be serious. Not real money. Remember that insurance fraud case I worked last year? The one where they used fake documentation to claim fire damage?" Bryce was quiet for a long moment. "You still have access to those template documents?" I have everything I need to create a paper trail that looks legitimate until someone actually tries to use it. Another pause. What you're suggesting is poetic justice. I prefer to call it a controlled burn. 2 days later, I presented Madison with a manila envelope containing what appeared to be certified bank documents authorizing the transfer of $28,000 from my retirement account to her personal checking account. The papers looked absolutely perfect to the untrained eye, complete with official letterheads, account numbers, and authorization codes that would fool anyone who wasn't specifically looking for fraud. Preston, I can't believe you did this. Her hands actually trembled as she examined the documents. I told you I'd do anything for our family. She kissed me then, and it felt like being kissed by a snake. I'll take this to the bank tomorrow and get everything transferred, then pay Dr. Coleman directly. Actually, I was thinking I should drive you. This is a big moment for us. Panic flashed across her face. You don't need to do that. These bank appointments can be long and boring. I don't mind. Actually, the bank manager specifically said only the account holder should come for this type of transfer. Something about privacy regulations. The next morning, I kissed Madison goodbye and watched her drive away with $28,000 in fraudulent documentation. Then I called Bryce. She's mobile. We're on her. I spent the day in my office trying to work on legitimate cases while my phone buzzed with updates. Madison had gone straight to First National Bank, where she had attempted to process the transfer. The bank manager, trained to spot fraudulent documents, had immediately flagged the transaction and called security. But Madison was smarter than I'd given her credit for. Instead of pressing the issue, she'd claimed there must be some mistake and left quickly. She'd then driven directly to Zachary Rivera's apartment complex, where an argument had erupted in the parking lot. Bryce's telephoto lens captured everything. Looks like trouble in paradise, Bryce texted me, along with a photo of Madison gesticulating wildly, while Zachary stood with his arms crossed, looking disgusted. By noon, I knew Madison had figured out the documents were fake. The question was what she'd do next. I didn't have to wait long. Madison came home at 2:30, her face a mask of cold fury. We need to talk, she said. Of course. How did the bank appointment go? Cut the crap, Preston. I know what you did. I looked up from my laptop with practiced innocence. I'm sorry. The documents were fake. The bank manager spotted it immediately. That's impossible. I got those directly from my retirement fund administrator. No, you didn't. Madison slammed her purse down on the counter. You know about Zachary, don't you? There it was, the confession I'd been waiting for. I don't know anyone named Zachary. My God, you really are pathetic. She laughed, but there was no humor in it. Do you want to know the truth, Preston? The whole truth? I'm listening. There was no miscarriage. I was never pregnant 6 months ago. I moved out because I met someone better than you. Someone who actually has ambition, who doesn't spend his days investigating house fires like some glorified janitor. Every word was designed to cut, to make me feel small and worthless. 6 months ago, it would have worked. But here's the beautiful part, Madison continued. Zachary and I have been running this scam on lonely, desperate men for over a year. The fake pregnancy, the medical emergencies, the urgent need for money. We've made almost $100,000. $100,000? You were just supposed to be one more mark, but you had to be clever about it, didn't you? Had to play investigator. I stood up slowly. So, there's no baby. There's no baby. There never was a baby. And there's no future for us. Madison pulled off her wedding ring and threw it at my feet. I'm taking half of everything in the divorce, and there's nothing you can do about it. She was wrong about that last part. Actually, Madison, there is something I can do about it. I picked up my phone and pressed play on the voice recording app I'd been running since she walked in the door. Her face went white as she heard her own voice confessing to fraud, admitting to the scam, revealing everything. You recorded me. I'm an insurance fraud investigator, sweetheart. Recording conversations is what I do. Madison lunged for my phone, but I stepped back easily. This won't hold up in court. Arizona requires two-party consent for recordings. You're right, but Arizona also has an exception for recording evidence of criminal activity on your own property. I smiled for the first time in months. I think a $100,000 fraud scheme qualifies. She stared at me, finally understanding that she'd walked into a trap. Here's what's going to happen, I continued. You're going to call Zachary and tell him to come here. You're going to confess everything to him while I record it, and then you're both going to turn yourselves in to the state insurance fraud division. And if we don't, then I turn this recording over to the police, along with all the evidence Bryce and I have been gathering for the past week. Photos of your meetings, documentation of the money exchanges, proof that you've been using fake medical documents to defraud multiple victims. Madison sank into a chair, the fight draining out of her. You don't understand. Zachary isn't just my partner in this. He's dangerous. If he finds out I told you everything, then you should have thought of that before you decided to steal from me. An hour later, Zachary Rivera sat in my living room looking like a caged animal. He was even more impressive in person, the kind of guy who probably had women throwing themselves at him on a daily basis. But up close, I could see the calculation in his eyes, the predator sizing up his prey. "So, you're the husband," he said with a smirk. "Madison's told me a lot about you. I'm sure she has. Look, man, I don't know what she's told you, but this is all just a misunderstanding." "The misunderstanding," I said, "is thinking I'm stupid enough to fall for your bullshit." I played the recording of Madison's confession. Zachary's face went through several expressions: surprise, anger, and finally resignation. "You got us," he said. "What do you want?" "I want the names and contact information for every other woman you've scammed. I want documentation of every fraudulent transaction, and I want both of you to turn yourselves in. And if we don't, then I destroy you." Zachary laughed. "You're a fire inspector, dude. What are you going to do, arrest me for arson? No, I'm going to do something much worse." I pulled out a second phone and showed him the screen. "I'm going to post everything on social media." The phone displayed a draft Instagram post containing photos of Zachary and Madison together, screenshots of their text messages planning the fraud, and audio clips from Madison's confession. Your entire fitness influencer career is built on your image, isn't it? Women trusting you, buying your programs, believing you're the honest guy next door who just wants to help them get in shape. Zachary's tan seemed to fade before my eyes. What happens when they find out you're actually a con artist who preys on vulnerable women? What happens when your sponsors see evidence that you've been running romance scams for over a year? You wouldn't. Try me. 3 hours later, Madison and Zachary walked into the Arizona Department of Insurance Fraud Division and confessed to running a multi-victim pregnancy scam. The investigator, a sharp-eyed woman named Detective Taylor Brooks, had been tracking similar cases across the Southwest for months. "Mr. Walsh," she told me after taking their statements, "you may have helped us break up one of the largest romance fraud rings in Arizona. We estimate they've stolen over $300,000 from victims across 4 states." The next few weeks unfolded like a perfectly choreographed dance of destruction. Madison, unable to make bail on the fraud charges, sat in county jail while her real estate license was suspended and her professional reputation crumbled. Zachary lost his social media sponsorships, his fitness program was shut down, and he faced civil lawsuits from dozens of other victims who came forward after seeing the news coverage. But the real satisfaction came from watching our social circle react to the truth. I'd spent months enduring pitying looks from neighbors who clearly thought my marriage was falling apart because of my own failures. Madison had been spinning stories about my supposed shortcomings for years, painting herself as the long-suffering wife of a man who couldn't appreciate what he had. Now, those same neighbors were calling to apologize. "Preston, I had no idea," said Ashley Parker, a mutual friend from Madison's real estate office. "Madison told us you were controlling and paranoid. She said you accused her of cheating constantly. She was cheating constantly. I know that now. I'm so sorry we didn't see through her lies." 6 months later, I sat in a courtroom watching Madison plead guilty to multiple counts of fraud. She looked smaller somehow, diminished by orange jail scrubs and the reality of what she'd done. Her lawyer had negotiated a plea deal, 18 months in state prison, followed by 3 years of probation and full restitution to all victims. When the judge asked if she had anything to say, Madison stood and turned to look at me. "I'm sorry, Preston. I never meant for it to go this far." I stared back at her without expression. Sorry wasn't enough. Sorry didn't undo 6 years of lies, manipulation, and betrayal. After the hearing, I walked out of the courthouse into bright Arizona sunshine. Bryce was waiting by his car, smoking a cigarette and grinning. "How does it feel?" he asked. "Like justice." The divorce had been swift and brutal. With Madison in custody facing criminal charges, her lawyer had advised her not to fight my petition. I kept the house, my retirement fund, and what was left of our assets. She kept her prison sentence and her criminal record. That evening, I sat on my back patio with a beer, watching the sunset paint the desert mountains red and gold. Mr. Henderson waved at me from his garden, and I waved back. My phone buzzed with a text from Rachel. "Dinner Sunday. I'm making your favorite." I texted back, "Wouldn't miss it." It was good to be back to my life, but most of all, it was good to know that sometimes the good guys really do win.